Hey YouTube, my name is Kelly and I am back on YouTube. I have filmed videos before, like way back when, and posted them on YouTube, and I'm not sure where they are. They've gotten lost in the internet universe. So this is going to be very awkward. I'm just going to start off by saying that because I'm generally an awkward person, and talking to a camera is very awkward for me. But and I'm not used to doing stuff like this, but I just thought that it would be a good idea for me to do this because I had wanted to film a video just kind of to document my journey and mainly to encourage other people who the lighting, sorry about that, the sun is doing its own thing. So anyways, the lighting may shift because I'm mainly using the sunlight from the window. But yeah, so I just wanted to document my journey and kind of encourage other people. I'm sure that there are other people out there like me who were born with congenital heart defects or have found themselves as heart patients, and it's a very weird place to be and a weird thing to navigate, especially for me with being a nurse and a mom and a student and everything else. So I'm just hoping that by sharing my story, I can look back and see how far I've come, and also just encourage other people who may find themselves in a weird spot like I have as well. I wrote a few notes about just some things I want to talk about, and if you see me like pause and take a deep breath or acting kind of weird, I've been having palpitations, and it's a weird feeling. So anyways, in a previous video I'm sure I shared I was born with pulmonary stenosis as a child, and so pretty much what that means is your pulmonary valve is, and that's the valve that is sending blood to the lungs, is not functioning properly. And so the issue with that is that it was too narrow, so not enough blood was able to get through the valve into the lungs to get oxygenated and send that oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. So the pulmonary valve is located like in the right ventricle area of your heart. It opens up and leads into the pulmonary artery, which sends blood to your lungs to get oxygenated and have it sent to the rest of the body. So yes, that valve was stenosed, meaning that it was narrow, and the blood was having difficulty getting through the valve into the pulmonary artery to get to the lungs for oxygen. And so when I was about 3 months old, I had what is called a balloon valvoplasty, and that's when they, I believe, I don't remember because I was a baby, but I think they went in through the femoral artery, because that's the artery in your leg where they can access it through your groin and into the heart. They send like a little catheter up there with a balloon on it, and when they get into the pulmonary valve, they use the balloon to expand that valve, and the goal is that the valve will open up a little bit so that more blood can get through. And so that happened for me. The valve kind of opened up a little bit, but then it got to the point where it was a little too wide. And so another function of the pulmonary valve is that it closes. So once the blood flows through, it closes so that there's not a backflow back into the right ventricle. And the issue with me was that the valve wouldn't close all the way, so blood was allowed to fall back into the right ventricle, and over time that was causing some right-sided heart failure. When your heart is working hard, because now it has to work extra hard to push that blood back. It's working to push the blood out of the right ventricle through the valve into the pulmonary artery, but blood's falling back, so it's like having to work harder and harder, and you can get hypertrophy, where your muscle is working really hard and it starts to get thick, and that's a symptom of heart failure, in addition to enlargement of the right ventricle. So that's what I had, and one way, as you can see, I'm short about just talking. One way that they tried to fix that was by placing a coil. So in first grade, I had a coil placed, kind of the same situation. They went through the femoral artery into the heart and placed this like little metal coil, and the goal for that was to have some blood to clot around the coil in that pulmonary valve area, so that the opening wouldn't be as open. They're kind of just hoping that a clot would form to kind of narrow that opening so that not as much blood would fall back into the ventricle. And that helped for a while, but as I got older, I would experience symptoms kind of like what I've been experiencing recently, with difficulty, doing stairs, lack of endurance, extreme fatigue. I just remember like after school, I just want to go to bed and sleep. And I was just, it was a hard place to be in because I was in my mid to late teens, and I just didn't have all the energy that I guess a normal teen would have. So that's a very bright light. I remember, I think it was like the fall before I turned 17. I came home from school and remember that my mom was like crying, and I'm just like, did someone die? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you crying? And she showed me the letter from my cardiologist, because I had been following a cardiologist my entire life, obviously. And they felt that it was time for me to get this valve replaced. It wasn't functioning well, and despite all the efforts to try to regulate and find that balance, it just wasn't functioning the way that it needed to. So they had decided that I'd have open heart surgery that next summer. So then I went in on June 10th, 2011, and I had my pulmonary valve replaced with a prosthetic valve, a bioprosthetic valve, a pig valve, porcine valve, valve. And so that procedure went pretty well. As you can see, they did a sternotomy. The lighting's a little, so I've got this wonderful scar here from that. And so I had the procedure, went pretty well, recovered thankfully, and I went on to have 2 children in addition to the child I already had, and lived a fairly normal life. So fast forward to recently, I got these lines on my face. The sun just doesn't want to work with me, y'all. The lighting does not want to work with me, but it's okay. It's gonna be all right. Recently I have been feeling a lot of the feelings that I had before, just like decreased endurance, weakness, feeling tired, lots of palpitations, chest pain, which has evolved. Like, it was mainly before more like musculoskeletal pain, and every now and then kind of like chest pain, but it's been all over the place. But for sure, like, I've noticed that I can't run like I used to, jog, stairs, even just going up 2 flights of stairs. I feel really fatigued, winded, like struggle to catch my breath. Hiking, no. And it's kind of tough because it's like, being a 26-year-old woman, like, and just feeling so tired all the time, so weak, and also trying to raise kids and do school and work and everything. It's a lot. And like, even just with my peers, like, I'll go on a jog with a friend who's in her early 30s, or my partner who's in their late 30s and can't even keep up, and it's just like, dang, like, like, it's just tough. So that's something that I've kind of like verbalized to my cardiologist and stuff, just concerned about that. And so this past weekend I was just sitting doing homework, normal stuff. I've had a lot of stress recently in my life with just lots of different things, and I started to get this chest pain that was like in my neck and was kind of radiating down to the left side of my sternum, into the back of my left shoulder, down my left arm. And obviously, as a medical professional, that was concerning. But I always question myself because, like, I've gone to the hospital, like, way back when I've thought something was wrong, and and things weren't bad or whatever. So it's like really hard to know like what's what sometimes. Like, you question yourself, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. And I'm glad that I actually ended up going in, because I like took the time, tried to lay down, tried to take deep breaths, try to calm down, and I wasn't getting any better. And I started to feel this tightness like in my chest, like I couldn't take deep breaths, and I was like, okay, this is not good. So I'm like hyperventilating, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get some fresh air. And like I lost it. I was panicking, like just sweaty, clammy, like freaking out. I was freaking out. Like, the epitome of freaking out is the situation that I had. And so I ended up calling EMS, and they came. We tried an anxiolytic, and it didn't really take away the chest pain, didn't do anything for the chest tightness. So I ended up getting nitro, quite a few doses of nitro, and thankfully that helped with the pain. So then I ended up in the hospital, and they did a wide variety of tests. I had already had a CT angio scheduled, which is just like a CAT scan of your heart. They look at the vessels and everything like that. Sorry, lots of big words, guys. So yeah, anyways, they look at the vessels of your heart and all that good stuff. So they ended up doing that, as well as another echocardiogram, which I have an echo every year. And most recently I've been having, the first time I think I had a CT angio, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not the first time, but the most recent one was last year. So I was going to have another one this upcoming year, and, well, next month. But ended up having all that stuff done early. And so they did that, and sorry, I have this heart monitor on, so I'm supposed to press it every time that I get a weird feeling in my chest or chest pain, whatever. So that's why I keep doing that. But yeah, so they did all this stuff, and then I had like 4 different cardiologists come in and say, yeah, you need a new valve. And I'm like, okay, because I've always been told that the valves last anywhere from 7 to 10 years, and it's going on 10 years. It's been 9.5 years. So I'm like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. And then I got, I don't know, lots of other things that they're looking at, lots of back and forth. And they're like, well, maybe we'll do right heart cath, or maybe you'll come back for the right heart cath, or this and that. And, oh, you've got an abnormal heart rhythm and stuff. Because I noticed that, like, sometimes just laying down, my heart will beat really fast. Or if I'm, like, getting up and just walking around, simple stuff, like walking around the bedroom or wherever, like, I'll get these palpitations. And they noticed that my heart was kind of higher in the like 120s. It looked sinus tach, but they weren't 100% sure. I don't know. So lots of different things going on, in addition to some pulmonary artery dilation that they found last year, which I guess can happen when you have pulmonary stenosis over time. You can get pulmonary artery dilation as well. So lots of different puzzle pieces that they're trying to figure out. And so getting short of breath. I did end up having that right heart cath, and it was not a fun experience. I would not want anyone to have to do that. Like, the procedure itself is not bad, but let me tell you, you're awake. Sometimes they will sedate you, but I didn't get sedated, and they can go in through the femoral artery, so the groin. They can go in through the arm. They can go in through the neck, which is what they did with me. I don't think you can even see it. It's still a little sore, like, but it's like, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. Like, I went in, and like, they put this drape up so you can't really see what's going on the other side, and they clean your neck off, and they did a great job of kind of explaining everything that they were doing, but they numb the area, so it's not painful, but you can still feel the catheter going in And it's a trippy feeling, like knowing that there's this catheter that is in your heart and you're awake, and it's like you're like trying not to freak out, trying not to like move or anything, because you're like, I don't want to die. Which is very unlikely, but still it's like, okay, this is actually happening and I'm awake, and I'm like, and you hear people talking in the background, they're like, oh, should we do this or that, or let's try this, and I'm just like, like what is going on? So yeah, that was quite an experience, and it felt like really weird. Got a lot of flutters, palpitations, all that stuff, but they monitor you while you're on the table. And so got out of that, and it was very painful. Like, I was not prepared for what happened after. Usually I guess it's not supposed to be as painful as what I was told, but like the next day, well, into that evening, because it's kind of later in the evening, went home having palpitations, and so I've got this like heart monitor. This is actually called a Zeo patch. So I'm just pressing the button, writing down my symptoms, stuff like that, because I did some of my own research online and saw that, sometimes you can have palpitations and different things after the procedure. And so, but then the next day, like, I'm like, well, let me try to walk a little bit, because I haven't been very active sitting around in the hospital bed, because I just felt so weak. And it's kind of like a catch-22, because like you're feeling weak, so then you're kind of laying low, which is kind of like, you get some muscle wasting, and you just you get that atrophy and different things like that because you're not using those muscles. So yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm like, let me try to walk around, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's a walk or what, because even when I was like up walking, not like speed walking or anything, guys, I mean like literally just walking, I was getting palpitations and just kind of feeling weird. So I came back and everything went downhill. Like, when I say everything went downhill, I mean everything went downhill. Sorry, I'm trying to get good lighting, guys. I'm filming this on my computer. So, hold on. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm so tired now. I don't know how long I've been talking, and I'm exhausted. But I'm gonna end this video. So yeah, I got super sick. I was having a lot of pain and ended up having to go back in. I felt like I was pretty much rushed out of the hospital after the right heart cath. I went from being on the table back to the room and out the door, and I didn't really get like information about like what to expect, what's normal, what's not normal, what to call for, call in to report about any symptoms. And usually sometimes I'll even include that in discharge paperwork. Nothing. And I was like this seems weird, but I'd already kind of given the cardiologist a run for their money with all the back and forth that was going on. So just like, okay, I don't know. But I really, really wish that I would have advocated for myself more, because, you have to advocate for yourself in those kind of situations. But I was just so tired, and I don't know. So ended up having to go back into the hospital, have more tests done. Got some medication for the pain, because I was like almost in tears, I was in tears just with everything going on, and then the pain and the nausea and the vomiting. And I'm like, it's been a long week. Like, here we are on Wednesday and this started Saturday, and it was just a lot. It was a lot. So try to sit up. Ooh. So yeah, feeling a lot better now. I still really have no idea what's going on. One cardiologist recommended I get another opinion from Mayo Clinic, which is, I'm sure you guys have heard of Mayo Clinic. They're really good at what they do, and we have a hospital and clinic here in Minnesota, one of their hospitals and clinics, just because there's a lot going on, and even when I was in the hospital yesterday, my heart rate was like super low in the low 40s, and they had to do 2 EKGs. We weren't really sure what was going on, and with the metoprolol, trying to control the high heart rate when it is high, but then having these really low lows, it's just like, it's a juggling act, it's a balancing act, and anyone who's been a patient knows how overwhelming everything can be. It's just like, oh my gosh. But I'm smiling now. I'm laughing now. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get emotional. You'll learn that I'm an emotional person. But it is a lot. It is a lot. My computer. Like, I don't know how to put it into words. Everything, emotionally, physically, spiritually, just, having to feel like, other people are making decisions about your health and your life and your body. And I get these are medical professionals and they've been trained for all this, and it's just a lot, because it's just like, especially when you're getting conflicting information and you just don't know, and I have children and I obviously want to be here for my children, and it's just hard, because it's like, I'm grateful for the technology that we have and the professionals that we have and their ability to, plan and intervene when necessary. But it's always in the back of my mind, just like, knowing that my heart's not in the best shape, and knowing that I'm going to need multiple procedures by the time I die, and like, what does my life expectancy look like? And what does my quality of life look like 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now? It's just a lot. And I'm just hoping that, we'll get solid answers, and, things that need to be done will be done, and it'll be good. So sorry for getting emotional. I'm sure anyone who has a medical condition can totally understand where I'm coming from. It is not easy, especially when you're a mom, you're a daughter, all these different things. And so I think that everything, sorry guys, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I believe that, God, the universe, like, put me on this journey to not only inspire others, but just give me a different sense of empathy and understanding, especially my role as a nurse, which is a caring profession. And I think that's what makes my care and ability to care for others different, because I know what it's like to be in the hospital bed, and I know what it's like to feel a lack of autonomy and like just lack of control and just this overwhelming craziness. And so I am grateful for my experiences that influence my practice and ability to care, and I love what I do, and I'm so grateful that I have this life of mine, even with the ups and downs, that I can make a difference, and I can be an like source of inspiration, I guess. Like, I don't feel super inspiring, but like, other people can see that, life is hard, and life throws curveballs and lemons at you. It's not just giving you lemons, that's tossing the lemons at you, okay? Beating you with these lemons. And you can still find a silver lining, and you can still have hope, and, chaos and beauty and heartache and pain and joy and contentment and peace and all these different things can coexist. You can still live out your purpose despite your circumstances, and so I'm hoping that any of this that I'm saying makes sense and is inspiring and encouraging. And I've kind of gone off the rails, but I feel very supportive. I have a great family, great colleagues, great coworkers, great people in my life. I've mentioned I'm a student. I'm in MP school, second semester, and it has been a wild ride, let me tell you guys. But I believe in the universe, and I believe in God, and I believe that I'm exactly where I need to be, because these professors barely know me, but they've just been so supportive, so caring, so kind, so encouraging, so understanding. My classmates, I have so many things to be thankful for, and I guess that's kind of why I want to share my story and my experience and everything, and just shed a light to somebody else who's struggling, because it's a struggle, and there have been some low lows, but there have also been some high highs, and trying to focus on the highs, trying to keep going, keep pushing, because I am a fighter, and sometimes you don't realize you're just going through life and you're kind of in the survival mode, and every day is Groundhog Day, and you're just going, and you just don't take the time to reflect hey man, I'm doing this, I'm making it, I'm persevering, look at how far I've come. You're just so tunnel vision to where you're going that you don't take moments to look at where you've been and be hey, I've come so far, and I'm still evolving, and I'm still growing, and I'm still learning. And so I just think that's so important. Yeah, so I just wanted to get on here and say, don't give up on yourself, believe in yourself, keep pushing. I'm here. I'm gonna keep working on this paper after the crazy week that I've had, and it's not even to promote a go kind of perspective, but just you can do a perspective and take your time and know that setbacks aren't always setbacks. It's a pause. It can be a speed bump versus a roadblock. Just see these things as parts of your journey, necessary components of your journey, to help you reflect, to help build gratitude, to help build grace for yourself, because there are times where you're going to have to lay low and maybe set off on a different course, change your path, whatever it may be, but it doesn't mean that it has to be the end. And so I hope that is some encouragement for y'all YouTube folks. I am going to hopefully be building my channel and making more videos. I'll try to do a video a week. It's going to be a whole smorgasbord, if that's how you say it, thing of videos about my good old 45-year-old heart. I'm just kidding. And school, mom life, work life, sort of work life, I guess. I don't know. HIPAA. And yeah, so yeah. If you like to see me cry on the internet, please like my channel and subscribe, and we will be growing together. Thanks. Bye-bye.